Well, in terms of my personal life, it's a huge benefit working within the CPAs. Of course, it is if you're working within the umbrella of any large organisation. I mean, the idea of having a paid holiday is absolutely fantastic. And that they pay me the same whether I'm in court or not. I suppose it's something I didn't realise would be so attractive, the idea of a regular salary. And of course, it's easier for me. It's not always terribly easy, but it's much easier for me to take time off as and when I need it, say for family commitments.
We're going to go straight over.
The Old Bailey prosecution will depend on CCTV. Annie and Peter are on their way to meet detectives at the murder scene.
And that's the camera, obviously, that covers the CCTV.
Is that the only camera that's covered?
Initially, when you see them, it's off screen, so then come back into camera.
What, you mean he's stabbed
Back
over there?
slightly out of the line.
Where was his head?
Body's out the front here, in front of the,
Go to the left. If there's a serious case, it'll be passed to me virtually straight away. So I'm involved even pre-charge here, so I can keep control of the case all the way along. If I was in chambers, I'd have to wait until this unit briefed out a brief to me, and that's very often at a stage just maybe a week before the first appearance in the Crown Court. So I've missed out on all the initial procedures. I haven't been able to advise on the charge, and I don't feel that I would be as on top of the case as I am being involved straight away.
A revolution may be taking place at the criminal bar, but the profession is attracting record numbers of entrants. Anna de Warner-Kluge has wanted to be a barrister since she was a child.
Today is a really big day for me because it's what I've always wanted to happen, and it's a really big day for my mum as well because she's watched me talk about this for what probably seems like forever to her. So it's quite nice to sort of not have a conclusion, but a conclusion to this part of things.
This evening, Anna will at last become a barrister at Middle Temple, one of the 4 ancient inns of court which retain the exclusive right to call students to the bar.
Hello, I'm here to collect my wig and gown.
Right, okay, yes. Pop down and see my colleagues at the end and we'll look after you. Thank you.
Just lift it up slightly. Push it down a wee bit. Your hair's quite strong, you see. And so you should sit down on the crown.
I've been trying to make it go flat all night.
How's that feel?
Okay.
Okay, I'll try you with the gown, and then you can have a look in the mirror.
Excellent.
Have you got a collarette
No,
for
I'm
your
going to
occasion?
pick one up.
So we need to
That's
buy one of
okay.
those. Yeah, sure. That's your
Thank you.
gown. They're a little bit easier because they're just sized by the length, so that's not a problem. Have a look in the mirror.
Anna finally gets to wear a wig and gown.
Thank you.
The call ceremony has remained unchanged for 400 years. In charge tonight is Deputy Under-Treasurer for Education, Krista Richmond.
It's just for the 3 columns, because I know as I line them up, they'll be all over the place. So if I have a point on the floor which I can point to, it'll be that little bit easier, I hope.
We do plain or the lace collar, okay? If you slip your gown and jacket off slightly off the shoulder, and I'll just pull it around for you.
Thank
And
you.
it'll just
Should I
cover up
turn around?
everything. That should be okay. Just turn like that.
It feels fine. Yep. Excellent.
The bands sit outside the jacket, and that's about
Outside
it.
my jacket.
That's right.
Like that.
That's it.
Excellent. Great.
The benches will sit along here, behind the cupboard. As I say, a reader and treasurer will be lined up here. I'll do my administrative bit here, and the guests of the callees will sit along here in the sort of theatre bit, if you like.
Tonight for my call, my mother and my aunt are coming, and they're both really excited. Almost maybe more excited than I am, because they're taking the whole day to decide what they're wearing and planning their route. Thank you very
then.
much.
Many thanks. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Being called to the bar is just a first step. What all new barristers need next is an apprenticeship or pupillage in a barrister's chambers. Only 1 in 5 will succeed. It took Kokoli Pandey 2 years to get this far.
Pupillage is this training period for when you've just qualified as a barrister. So when you've finished bar school, the next stage is to go into practice. And so you spend 6 months following a more senior barrister and then 6 months on your feet, as we call it, which is basically doing very sort of small, minor cases and then sort of building up your advocacy practice. And that's the stage that I'm in. It's a very difficult job to do and there's a lot of responsibility attached to it. So I think you really have to want it if you do want to succeed and if you want to make a career of it. And by that I mean if you want to do it for the next 25, 30 years, then I think you have to be really I think you have to devote yourself to it mentally and physically, otherwise you won't be able to survive in this profession.
Even a pupillage is no guarantee of a career at the bar. Kokoli is one of 4 pupils chasing a permanent position known as a tenancy. Their head of chambers is Mark Love.
Pupillage is a very demanding time because ultimately, to practice as a barrister, you have to secure a tenancy. I suspect at the moment, from the feedback that I'm getting from the clerks, and the fact that we historically have always been perhaps over-optimistic about the future, that we are going to be able to provide 2 tenancies. I'd be surprised if we do better than that.
It's a personal thing. You've been in chambers for about 18 months and you've given your all, and if that's not good enough, then it is going to hurt.
You've got 2 at Horsey Road. One's a trial. It'd be best to try and do a pre-trial review as well. If you can't, just give us a call and I'll give you...
I have prepared myself for that possibility, but I haven't prepared myself for hearing them say, we don't want you in our chambers.
At the start of the robbery trial, there's a significant development. Dickie secures newly enhanced CCTV of one of the robberies.
The footage is so clear, you can plainly see that one of the robbers is actually one of the defendants sitting in the dock. The case has certainly strengthened against him.
Are these notices of additional evidence?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bond.
Together with that as a notice of additional evidence.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful to you.
Okay.
This will no doubt assist me with what has to take place this afternoon.
Well, it should do.
Thank you very much. I think I will break now for some lunch, Mr. Bond.
We anticipate that this afternoon he'll plead guilty to that offence.
You hope.
Because he's stuffed.
He might be stuffed, but he might just sit there and say, you prove it.
Can I have those photos back so I can just put them in the hands of the jury?
And the reason why we're where we are is because the Crown has been their usual self, tardy, and serve things at the last minute. Anyway, I've got to go and get some lunch now. I can't spend much more time discussing this nonsense with you.
Your client won't think it's nonsense.
My client needs discipline, proper upbringing, and not to be excluded from the educational system. If all those things were put in place, you wouldn't be making a living out of him now.
And nor would you.